It's a return to Twista, and this is one of his earliest albums, and this is Adrenaline Rush. So, what I know about Twista is that he's a rapid fire spitter. He's from Chicago, and he's had a series of hits this past decade, but also his albums usually have one, two, or sometimes three hits on them that get radio appeal. So he's really close to where I live. He's like right next door. He's in Illinois. I'm in Missouri. Apparently, this album got plays more around this area than it did across the country and beyond. And so it's a little bit of a cult album just because Twista has had similar songs to these, and I also feel like some of this has been quoted as well. He's a fast rapper, and he's got some topics for the most part that work. However, you're going to notice that the production on this album, it is pretty not as high of a budget as some of the other rap albums that I reviewed. This is probably one of the weaker budget albums that I've reviewed, but it's still quality. That's the thing. So we'll talk about the rest of it. Can You Smoke This? The song Adrenaline Rush is a perfect one. It Feels So Good, Emotions, Overdose. These are some fantastic ones. The album is rather short. I mean, it's it's 11 songs, removing the skits, and then the remix that makes 10 songs. So 4 out of 10 to smoke to is pretty good. But of course, there's more than 4 songs that are good on this album. So the production, immediately go for Emotions, immediately go for Overdose and Adrenaline Rush, and then Get It Wet's another one. That kind of is just like Wetter. I think you should pretty much remember that. And yeah, so those are some of the ones. Now, the unheard songs, because out of 10, I did not like the remix, so I'm not going to knock the score because I like the original song. But I did like 6 out of 10 songs on this album, plus one almost song. So I am going to say Adrenaline Rush, Death Before Dishonor, It Feels So Good, Overdose, Emotions, and Get It Wet. Now, the closest ones with the most appeal is going to be Emotions. That, has a real buttery, smooth type thing. Twista's pretty good at that. Get It Wet's another one. Didn't like the hook on that one as much, but I think it pretty much is sugar coated. But he's not a sellout or anything. Overdose and Adrenaline Rush are the more gnarled records that have production that is pretty sinister. So those are some ones to check out. And then, the other ones you'll have to take a listen to, but they all work. I mean, it's got immediate appeal. Maybe like I said, you're going to notice that it feels a little bit more stark and skeletal than a lot of the other things that I reviewed. But, Twista wasn't, didn't have all the plaques on the wall just yet. So, but the almost song is No Remorse. I don't remember what it sounds like, but it's worth checking out, and it could up the score. So the songs I didn't like are just because one of them kind of has a similar beat to another song, and didn't like that much. Corrupt World and Unsolved Mystery, wasn't really interested, but I guess we could just say it's because of the production. So Sometimes, I mean, when it comes to what the song is about, it really depends upon if I'm going to be able to listen to it or not. If I am completely uninterested, then it kind of, I may or may not listen to it. But, you know, it felt pretty close to political rap and that sort of thing. But, so I'm going to give this album an 8 out of 10 because I liked 6 out of 10 songs. That's only 4 I didn't like, but the Almost song would have made 7. So I'll give it a 7 out of 10. Well, I want to give it an 8 just because that's only 3 songs I didn't like. I'll give it a 7.5 out of 10. And the future Twista dropped an EP this year with Do or Die, and I would take a look at that. Trying to cock my head. I know I cock my head sometimes. I'm trying not to do that. It's kind of frustrating because I have to look at the mirror. Um, so the social score is going to get a 6.5. I mean, this is a decent. I think people will know some of these songs, but it's almost 20 years old, and also it does, it just needed more. I don't know. I mean, I think people will like it, but the budget towards the album might be a little bit kind of weak for some people. But I had no problem with it. It just sounds a little bit basic compared to some of his later stuff. So just understand that. But yeah, I give this album a 7.5 and a 6.5 social, and I do think it can be topped, definitely in length. And just stay tuned for more Twista and more.